Welcome back to Interjections. We've got a couple of Inter routes to talk about. We've got a thrashing of Venezia 5-1 and yesterday's domination over Como. We'll call it the tourist hotspot sweep. I'm your host, Andrew, and I've got Mikko here with me, along with our new special guest, Irfan. Irfan, welcome to Interjections. Maybe we can start by you introducing yourself to the fans and telling us how you became an Inter fan.
I guess I deserve that. That's pretty fair. But no, it's good to be back. Really, I was just waiting until the team was back in first place before I joined the pod again, and they finally delivered. So I was like, okay, you know what? Now it's worth my time again. But no, it's good to be here. It's good to talk about a team that is, yes, currently in first place, and is scoring goals again. So those are all great things.
No coincidence, really, that Inter go top of the table, and Jay suddenly, quote, calls in sick, whereas Irfan makes his reappearance. Mikko, I'll give you the opportunity to wish Jay a happy birthday as he listens along.
Yes. Happy birthday to Jay, and especially, was it Aston Villa who gave him a nice birthday present by beating Arsenal in the weekend yesterday. So yeah, congrats to Australia.
We'll have to see what happens. I think Milan plays Torino today, and they absolutely struggle against Torino in the past few years. So maybe we'll get some more birthday gifts. Well, we'll start with the Como match because that's the one that matters more. The Venezia game was more or less a friendly. The Como performance was impressive to me overall. It wasn't perfect, but it was just an overall, everyone played well, solid team effort. The first goal is really what I want to focus on because that's where Luis Enrique finally looked like the player in the highlight compilations from when he was at Marseille. He picks up the ball at the halfway line. He runs with pace. He makes a slick change of direction on the ball. He picks out Lautaro with a great finish. And that's sort of everything we've been looking for from this guy that he just has not offered in the past 2-3 months. So to see signs of life from him, to see signs of life earlier in the week from Diouf, it's a positive step in the right direction that makes you think that, okay, maybe this summer Mercato can be salvaged. Maybe we signed players who are going to meaningfully contribute to the squad because we're going to need them down the stretch. You already see that with Dumfries hurt, how much we were struggling at right wing back for a couple weeks there, including against Milan. Como did have some chances early in this game, but they didn't have any shots on targets in the first half. And really this game ended the minute Thuram scored off the corner when DeMarco slung in the cross, and Thuram did a great job getting on the end of it. And I want to start by talking about the tactics of this match because we really had our way with Como for most of this match. And like I said, they had no shots on target in the first half. And there seems to be this theme where we play a lot better against teams who like to play open styles. You saw us score for fun against Barcelona last year. We've dominated Gasperini and Atalanta, who obviously plays his dynamic 3-4-3. And then Como, the recent example, we've destroyed them since Fabregas took over. And they're all just recent examples of teams who don't like bogging it down, teams who they play their way and they refuse to deviate from the way they play, which is more possession-based, more on-the-ball dominance. Meanwhile, against teams like Milan and Napoli, you guys all know the story where they bunker down, they make you try and beat them, and we just haven't been able to score goals. We haven't been able to stop them on the counterattack. So Udinese actually also another example this year of us just struggling against the low block. So Irfan, I want you to diagnose this problem for me. Is this simply a matter of this is the way our team is built? We can beat open teams and we struggle against the low block, or is there something else at play here?
No, I think that is kind of how we're built. I mean, I think we play a certain way. We play when we play better when we're given a little bit of space. But you know what? I think this team is able to generate a decent amount regardless of what the setup is. So I think they can generate offense and chances even against teams that are very defensively sound and don't give us a lot of space and don't allow us to get kind of behind them. I think the issue's been, honestly, it's just been a lack of execution. It's been the inability to finish chances. And then at times, I think against teams that are more defensively sound, we just get a little bit too predictable. I think that's another issue. And maybe it's, to give the other teams credit, they force us to be predictable because they are so defensively sound. But I think our team plays the same way pretty much against anybody. And I think whenever we have a matchup against a team, even more than their low block, that really stifles our midfield, that's where I think we run into the most trouble. And I think Como yesterday, our midfield pretty much had its way with them. And they all played really well, and they were all able to move the ball pretty much without a lot of pressure. And part of it was that they were prepared to kind of soak up and deflect the pressure with a lot of like very quick, one-touch passing, which I think really helped and I think really tired out Como. But I think we're going to run into issues, and we're going to continue to run into issues where you have like a very physical and strong midfield that just takes away our ability to kind of get creative in the way we set up our attacks. Whenever a team forces us to kind of be more predictable and one-dimensional, we have trouble scoring. And I think part of it is because it's just bad finishing off chances, but it's also because the quality of chances decreases and the finishing just gets a lot harder. So it's interesting though. Like I do think the formula we have though will work in a lot of cases, but it's really figuring out that extra sort of gear against some of the better teams with stronger midfields, I think, to figure out how to break that down. And I think Kivu has not really figured that out yet. And maybe he doesn't have the players for it, or maybe we're just not set up that way. But I think that's what he has to kind of crack with this team.
Mikko, I want you to dive in on a point Irfan just made about the forward play, where you look now, and we've all been complaining about Lautaro's performances all season. Thuram has been out hurt for a large portion of the season, but now you look at things, and Lautaro is the league's leading scorer with a great goal yesterday. Thuram has a great run of form here where he dominates Venezia, and then he scores a really nice goal yesterday, the heads-up play. So our forwards rounding into form, do you think that's the engine driving this team right now?
Yeah, I think we need to have them play like this. I would say that and the bench as well, they are doing pretty well. Esposito scoring against Venezia. Even if you said it was a glorified friendly, but still it was nice to see the bench guys get the minutes there, score some goals, and so on. Thuram scored 2 there, so he gets a bit of more kind of confidence, even if with him I feel sometimes it's more about this kind of this motivation and hunger and eagerness to play. And I think yesterday he played well with Lautaro. I think Lautaro won the MVP of the match, and we absolutely need them to be in their game, in inside the game. Like these days, in general in football, all the players need to be kind of part of this one unit, or otherwise at the top level it becomes hard to get success in defending, in attacking, and so on. Lautaro has gathered some criticism, and he has been missing chances. He missed again yesterday, but scored the crucial first goal. It was a like you said, nice attack started by Barella. Then I think it was Lautaro who passed to Henrique, who then sprinted forward and so on. And it was Henrique who then later in the match, I think he did almost a similar pass to Lautaro, even better one actually. But Lautaro couldn't kind of control the shot properly in a sense that it went straight to the keeper. I think it was again typical Lautaro kind of case that he scored the more difficult chance than the easier one. But yeah, our forwards are super important. They need to be involved all the time to be able to us to kind of play our game properly.
Yeah, I completely agree. The problem with this team at so many times has been the efficiency in front of nets. And yesterday, whenever you have an opportunity to go up on one of these teams you're superior to early and you punish them for their mistakes and you set the tone for the match, it just opens things up more for you. And you see with Como especially, they were trying to press more after we score the first goal. They become sloppier in their build-up play. And the amount of goals we scored yesterday from excellent pressing because we were able to take the match to Como because we staked ourselves a lead was huge. The third goal was really all built on superior pressing from us. So when we can get leads, it just changes everything. And I know it's a dumb thing to say, but I just have no confidence in our team to come from behind. I've seen it against Milan. You saw it against Napoli, where if this team gets in a hole early, they just can't stack goals. They can't come back and win a match. And frankly, I can't tell you the last time that we meaningfully came back and took a game from a losing position, turned it on its head, and won the fixture. That's just not a characteristic of this team. And part of that is because when you concede early, you allow these teams to, like Irfan was talking about, sit deeper. And part of it's just the way our team is built. So it was great to see us get out and show some initiative early yesterday. And like I mentioned in my recap, a lot of that was because of Luis Enrique and a little moment of greatness from him. And I want to use the Luis Enrique moment to just kind of reflect on this team as a whole, because I think I get a little frustrated when I see people complaining about the small mistakes our players make during a match, because you can't expect these guys to be perfect. But what I think Luis Enrique shows you is that when you have better athletes, you can afford to make small technical mistakes and the pure athleticism will bail you out. Because frankly, Luis Enrique didn't do a 10 out of 10 job yesterday on that run. He probably took the ball out too wide. He put himself in a difficult situation, but his just raw athleticism allowed him to bail himself out, make the turn, and pass the ball to Lautaro. And we don't have enough of that in this team, where players who can get away with making mistakes and, use their athleticism to recover from it. So I don't know if this means that Luis Enrique has turned the corner. I don't know if this means he's going to start against Liverpool. In fact, I feel confident it's going to be Carlos Augusto against Liverpool. But Irfan, talk to me about Luis Enrique. Are you fully bought in now? Does he still need to have something to prove to you? Where are you falling on the belief spectrum?
Yeah, I think I think your analysis of him is spot on in that he very clearly didn't do an excellent job on that play, even that ended up in the goal. For example, like you said, I think he dribbled way too far outside. I think he held the ball too long. I think he neglected a pass to Thuram that he could have made. But overall, it worked out. And I think, like you said, part of it is when you have players like Enrique and you have players like Diouf, like, because they're so fast and they have that athleticism, they can get away with some of the less, sort of technically sound play. And I got to give Kivu a lot of credit for ignoring some of the noise and negativity around these guys and really kind of working with them and sort of developing them in a way and in a manner and in a position in which he thinks that they can succeed. And again, I think they haven't necessarily done that against really great opposition at this point, but you could at least see that there's something there. Now, when it comes to like really important matches like the one we've got coming up against Liverpool, yeah, I don't expect him to play. And I think he still has a decent amount to prove because he was a pretty expensive player. And I know, we like to forget about that, but honestly, like, you do have to calibrate a little bit of your expectations based on, how much the team paid for him and how much they valued him. And so I expect him to kind of continue to thrive. I expect him to get even better with some more playing time and as Kivu sort of coaches him. So overall, I'm much more optimistic with him and Diouf than I was, a couple of weeks ago. But I just want to continue to see that progression and have them kind of fit into the team. I do think that, as fans, we can be a little impatient, realizing that these guys played in different leagues and for different teams and for different tactical setups. And then we expect them to kind of just come into our team and plug and play. But there's probably some truth to the fact that that's not how it works. And our system is obviously executed a lot better by the players who've been in Inzaghi's system. And that's not really surprising given the way Kivu plays. So I think it's something to watch, and I think I'm positive that it's going to continue trending in the right direction. Do you guys know, though, how long Dumfries is out? Because it's a pretty massive loss by us. Like, I think we need him back sooner than later.
I think it's still maybe a few weeks.
Yeah, it feels unlikely at this point that he's going to play again in 2025, and if anything, towards the end. I also know we have the Super Copa, and that might impact the overall availability of him. But, I mean, it's on one hand, it's nice that we've been able to see a few different things. Like, we've tried Augusto right wing back, we've seen Diouf inexplicably played at wing back, and now we have Luis Enrique finally taken the opportunity. So it's good that we've gotten a few different looks, and it's given the team options. But yeah, eager to get Dumfries back, and I'm sure you all sort of saw I'm going to call it hired marketing that took place last week, and Romano sent out a tweet talking about how great Dumfries has been and how he's basically implying he's available on the markets, and which is clearly just leverage coming from his agents, and it makes you think about, okay, long term, do we need Luis Enrique to be the solution here? So yeah, Mikko, any thoughts on the Luis Enrique kind of renaissance?
Yeah, I felt yesterday's match was totally different from what we've seen from him. Like, he actually tried to dribble and kind of play properly like he should. And I think this assist hopefully was a big kind of confidence booster for him. That there was nice kind of a proof of the team spirit. Barella and Thuram was super happy that they were jumping on him and not Lautaro when Lautaro scored the goal, because he got something actually tangible done there. So I really hope he can only pick it from here and kind of go forward with his performances, because as said, we need him. We need to have some kind of a proper right wing back, since Dumfries is indeed out still for a few weeks, I believe. And Augusto, he's maybe good at defending. He came in yesterday as well. We saw he did a bit better against Diao there, but compared to Henrique, so I understand why Kivu sometimes uses him there, but the attacking part is it's not that good with him, so that's why we definitely need Luis Enrique to kind of have the confidence to play there and be able to contribute properly to our offensive game as well. You mentioned Diouf, and it was nice to see also him getting kind of good performance. It was against Venezia in Coppa, but still, that was a nice goal he scored there. Fratesi got a few assists and so on. So, like I said earlier, it was nice to see these bench guys putting up good performances there. And I don't know about Diouf, like, when are we gonna see him in the midfield? But I'm okay using him in the right wing back position in these kind of specific cases when we need this type of player there. I'm okay with that. I assume maybe later we see him in midfield, but I guess it will take some time. All in all, nice to see Luis Henrique finally kind of getting it, fitting in, and yeah, happy for him.
Yeah, the youth thing is interesting. I want to see this guy in the midfield because, especially in these Champions League matches, I think he can make a difference. The problem with the youth signing was, okay, you sign this guy and he can't get on the pitch. But now he's getting on the pitch, and you're seeing why we signed him, which is the way this guy can pick up a ball and attack a defense is something to behold. Like it's something this team really needs. And you compare it to the way Zielinski plays the midfield spot. I mean, it's two completely different interpretations of the position, whereas Zielinski is physically weak. Zielinski is great on the ball, passing, but he can't take on a defender like that. But Diouf is a lot more like Mkhitaryan in the way he can transition play, the way he can get into the opponent's box, and obviously his finishing is a little better than Mkhitaryan at this point in Mkhitaryan's career. So I want to see Diouf in the midfield. I think the reason you aren't is because Kivu doesn't trust him to make good decisions all the time, and there's still defensive concerns about Diouf's play. So when the opportunity will be right for him to make his proper midfield debut against a real opponent, I don't know what the answer is, but this guy is quieting the concerns that we wasted 25 million on a complete bust of a player, that this is João Mario. Like this seems like there's some talent in here that Kivu is working to harness. And I don't know what he's done with the guy over the past 3 months, but this is much better than the initial debut performance we saw from Diouf all those months ago. So I'd like to see more of him. I think he's earning that playing time. The problem, of course, is we just have so many midfielders, and if you're Kivu and you're trying to keep people fresh and you're trying to keep people engaged, where do you play him? But that actually gets me to my second point I want to ask you about, Mikko, which is the Zielinski versus Mkhitaryan discussion, because it feels like Zielinski might have taken over that starting spot. He obviously had the goal last week, and now he starts against Como. It feels like he might be earning his place in the team, and maybe you do it matchup dependent based on who you're playing. But what do you think? Like right now, like we have a Scudetto deciding match. Are you starting the old hand Mkhitaryan, or do you like what you're seeing out of Zielinski enough to give him a try?
I would probably go with Mkhitaryan, but I think
that was a setup. I knew you were going to go for the old hand.
Yep, yep. But I think if Zielinski can continue playing like this, I think they can be like they can play every other game. Like other one starts the other game, and they subbed in and so on. I think, like you said, Zielinski he's been very good in the past weeks, and I just hope he doesn't get injured, because that kind of ruined, in my mind, ruined his first season at Inter, and now in this season as well. He was injured at some point, at least a bit. I really hope he doesn't get injured, because that's kind of a big force Kivu has in his hand to kind of pick which player he wants to use in which games. Since in some games Zielinski might be better, in some games Mkhitaryan might be better, but all in all, Zielinski has improved a lot in his kind of how he interprets the role of a Mezzala in our system. Like he can defend better now. He's kind of dependable in a sense. So that's why I also see why he plays as a starter now. Well, Mkhitaryan is now back, so let's see how it's gonna go. But I hope it goes not going away like Inzaghi did. That okay, same guys start all the time, and I think players have been mentioning this, that Kivu doesn't use that. He tries to get everyone involved, and everyone can play at least a bit. So I hope in this case it's the same, that Zielinski, Mkhitaryan, they both can play maybe kind of equal amount of minutes.
Yeah, this season feels different from last season just in terms of the overall squad depth, and you just feel better dipping into the bench everywhere. Obviously, attack is worlds different when you had Correa and Arnautovic, and just overall anchoring, holding back the attack last season. But even the midfield, you have Zielinski healthy and in form this season, which he wasn't last season. You have options at right and left wing back, especially when Dumfries is healthy. So this just feels like the deepest squad we've had in a couple of years here. And we're playing the same amount of games as last year. We're in all these competitions again, but the team, the fitness looks so much better, and there's no better embodiment of that than DeMarco, who keeps playing 90 minutes and just looks like a new version of himself. DeMarco has been one of the MVPs of the season, and I just once again have to give full credit to Kivu because the fitness of the squad is so much better, and he's the difference. He's the new idea that's leading to this improved overall quality in the squad. So I really like what I'm seeing. It's a shame we haven't gotten results against some of these bigger sides because it feels like we're close. It feels like if we can just get one of these games coming up here when we play a big side again, it can turn the corner for us and get us firmly on top of a Scudetto challenge. But a long way to go before then. We still have the Supercopa, like I said, later this month.
But you know what's a bigger disappointment, though, Andrew, is that we didn't get to see Kivu put his development hands on a certain backup regista, which we kind of just sold away. I keep thinking when you're talking about squad depth and all this other sort of stuff, like I would have loved to see Asllani in this team and really have Kivu sort of develop him and focus on him and try to get the best out of him. I mean, if he could do it with Enrique and Diouf, I'm sure he could do it with Asllani. Maybe next year we'll find out.
Yeah, I was going to say, good news for you is you will definitely be back here next year once Torino do not exercise their option. Shout out Asllani for that beautiful penalty against Torino.
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
Now, I do want to get to wrap up the discussion about Como Irfan. I want to wrap up by giving you the opportunity to talk about the defense, which we kept the clean sheets. Como has been scoring goals this year. Nico Paz has been having a fantastic season. Your favorite striker, Morata, goes off hurt early. Just talk about the defense and what you saw from Akanji specifically that let us stonewall them.
Yeah, I felt like that was. I feel like Morata getting injured was definitely hurting them. But honestly, it's weird. I haven't seen Como play a ton this year. I've watched a few of their matches, and I've just generally tracked them performance-wise. And I know Nico Paz is obviously awesome. Like, he was probably my prime candidate for Inter in the offseason. That didn't work out. So I know he's just quality. But I was like very underwhelmed by their attack overall. I just didn't see a lot of bite, just didn't see a lot of attacking talent, honestly, outside of Nico Paz, who you could tell had some good vision and some good chances to create something. But overall, I just wasn't impressed by them. And, I think part of it is that I think with Morata out, they don't have a lot of depth in attack, and I don't think that they were playing particularly well. But you have to give credit to our defense. And I think Akanji has been a very settling sort of presence for our defense. I think he's been generally very sound. He's positionally very good, and he will help out in distribution and help out with the attack and kind of supplement the midfield at times when he needs to. So that was good to see. And then overall, I think the defense just looks a lot more organized. I feel like they're communicating a lot better. They're moving as a unit a lot better. And I think yesterday, again, I keep going back to the fact that whenever we're able to sort of dominate the midfield and the midfield isn't overrun, we tend to do really well. Like even yesterday, I think there was one or two chances where Hakan or somebody lost the ball, and that ended up leading to one of the best chances for Como. And so it really does put our defense under a lot of pressure if our midfield kind of messes up in that way. And so I think whenever we play a game where our midfield is kind of humming along and better than the other side, I think it makes our defense look a lot better as well. So definitely give props to the defense and the setup, but I think it was overall they benefited a lot from just having a tactically balanced and sound midfield and attack in front of them. So I think we got to continue to do it. All supplements each other, and I think we got to continue to do that. And going back to your point, Andrew, about like how I just want to see this come together against a really good team. I do think it's coming. I mean, as jaded as Inter fans can be, I think we still need to give Kivu a little bit of time. There's been times where I feel like his substitutions and his kind of decision making late in games has been a little suspect. But you can't deny the fact that he's not afraid to try new things and try to figure things out that work. And part of that exercise is figuring out what doesn't work. And so I think it is coming. I think he has to sort of deal with sort of the inertia or lack of inertia that Inter has against really good teams, where we just can't seem to win the match. But I think it's coming, and I think it'll continue to develop, and I'm excited to see it, and I'm hoping that it comes next against Liverpool, who is definitely, I think, a beatable side.
Yeah, completely agree. The last point I'll make on Como is that as much as maybe you have a bias to expect this to be like a free-flowing attacking team because Fabregas is the manager, their calling card is actually their defense. They held a clean sheet against both Napoli and Juve this year, taking points from both of them. So our ability to score 4 against them should not go unrecognized. That's definitely what Como is best at when you think about their style of play. But yeah, just a great overall win. And as you said, on to a Champions League showdown at home against Liverpool, a Liverpool team in crisis. It feels like every time I open my phone, there's something new and unusual happening with Liverpool. I can't explain it yet. I'll go in kind of reverse chronological order. But yesterday, they concede a 96th minute goal to draw Leeds United in a Premier League match. And then after the match, you have Mo Salah giving an interview just absolutely eviscerating Liverpool and Slot and not saying he doesn't understand why he's been benched and signing a contract extension was a mistake. And this is the type of just, the Icardi-esque behavior. It just, you see it take place and you go, okay, like there's clearly something rotten with this team. And they're Mo Salah, like their elder statesman. They're like one of the best players in the modern history of their club, goes and gives an interview like this mid-season. It's like, okay, there's something adrift. The actual performances for Liverpool make absolutely no sense because they started off the year so hot. They looked like Liverpool for the first 7-8 games when they won them all, and they had spent $1 billion in the transfer market, and all was well. And then something changed, and they started losing matches in the Champions League. They've lost to Galatasaray, they lost to PSV. And I can't make any sense of it because they even have a win against Real Madrid in there. So I'm not going to pretend and sit here and tell you guys I watch a ton of EPL. In fact, I watch close to no EPL. So everything I know about Liverpool is things I just read online from watching their fans bellyache and complain. So, Mikko, you're probably the resident Liverpool expert. You smell the blood in the water here. You see the opportunity that is in front of us. So tell me, what is exactly going wrong at Liverpool right now?
I'm absolutely not an expert, but yeah, I can smell the blood, and this is probably the best kind of moment for us to meet them. They haven't sacked Slot yet, and they come to the away match for them. We play at San Siro. And everything is just kind of perfect for us for this kind of match. So I'm kind of secretly hopeful we can get a good result out of this. But as they say that we have this budget in the Champions League, we get the first four games, we got the 12 points, maximum points. Then we lost to Atletico, which was a bit of bummer given how the match actually went. So now we are in a situation where I think we need to push for the win now. We just need to do it. if there's kind of any chance, we need to try to get the win, because it doesn't get much easier from here. It's going to be Arsenal, and then it's going to be Dortmund at the last round, where we probably fight for the same kind of spots with them, and it's going to be at Dortmund. So this is the perfect place for us if we could somehow get a win. And now Liverpool, like you described, they look such a mess that we just need to punish them. But I'm always a bit of a skeptic towards the top EPL teams, since they're used to a different tempo game than us. It's true that as they say in the media and everywhere, that Inter is a different compared to other Italian teams, that Inter plays kind of European football, because we can play like higher tempo and we press a lot and so on. And I think that's true. But still, I have some kind of I don't know, some kind of scars from maybe 20 years back, how we usually played against these English teams, that I'm always a bit skeptical, like what's gonna happen, what kind of game we're gonna have here. I think we played against Liverpool a few years ago, or was it in the first? It was the first Inzaghi year when we played against them.
First Inzaghi year.
Yeah, and we lost them 2-0 at San Siro, and that was a bit of a letdown in a sense. But I think, I think we are better now than back then. We have a lot more European pedigree, and the players have much more experience. 2 times ULC final visits. So I'm kind of hopeful we can do some damage this time, because this is, like I said, this is the perfect time to do it.
When you were going in the Wayback Machine there, I thought you were going like 2008 Fernando Torres scores at the Miazza. That's where I thought you were going. I didn't think you were going to the ill-fated 1-0 away victory against Liverpool, where our players bragged about it for 6 months, even though we still got eliminated on an aggregate.
Well, yeah, that was the kind of matchup what I remember from the Mancini era back then, how we completely fell apart against them, even if the anticipation was a totally different. There was kind of a difference between the reality and what was kind of expected, what we would do there. I remember those times, but I think now it's gonna be a much more balanced, because of how Liverpool, or what's happening in Liverpool at the moment.
So I'm gonna put on my J hat for a moment and say that we've had so many times, so many opportunities this season to deliver the knockout blow, where you have Juve with Tudor in a crisis, you can kill them. You fail to do so. You have Napoli in full meltdown mode. They just lost by 4 goals in midweek Champions League. You have a chance to deliver the knockout blow. You fail to do so. Irfan, what's your confidence level that this team will be able to deliver the knockout blow that gets our man Slot fired from Liverpool? Do you think we can finally do the job? I will say we are favored in this match.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I have a very low confidence on this one because of a few reasons. One is, like you guys already talked about, like the PTSD of previous interactions with Liverpool. And then the other point is exactly what you just summarized, which is I feel like we're the perfect opponent for a team that needs to bounce back, right? Like if someone is struggling and they need to kind of break bad habits or break a bad run of form, we're like the club that always seems to oblige and let them do that. So I haven't seen it yet, so it's unproven to me. So I don't have a ton of faith right now, but I'm optimistic. Like I'm open minded. I think we have certainly the form and the formula to beat these guys. They're definitely spiraling, and we are. I feel like finding a little bit of form and getting some key contributions from a lot of places. So, and we're at home, so that's a good sign as well. But I don't know. It's Liverpool is still one of those sort of elite teams. I mean, I didn't think practically that Atletico Madrid was that great either. Like when we played them, I thought we were probably the superior team against them as well, and that didn't really prevent the result that happened from happening. So until we actually do it, I have to stay skeptical. And so while all the signs point to us coming out with a good result and possibly a win, I'm just not that convinced. And frankly, I don't think, we necessarily need a win. I take a draw here. And I think that's definitely doable, even though I feel like we just don't draw at all. I don't think Kivu just believes in draws. But yeah, let's see. I'm curious to see what happens. But no, I don't think the team right now deserves a lot of benefit of the doubt on this stuff because, like you mentioned, we seem to be the perfect opponent for a team that wants to bounce back.
The interesting thing I find here, so I have friends or people I at least know who are Liverpool fans who are close to the team, and there's just pure unvitrioled hatred towards this iteration of Liverpool. They have no confidence whatsoever, and they complain to me about the team. So listening to us who are in good form also complain about our team and our chances against Liverpool is a little ironic. I don't know. Maybe this is setting up to be a tie. I don't know. I will say the thing that scares me about Liverpool is definitely their attack. Their defense, there's nothing on paper that scares me. Van Dijk's a dinosaur. Konate, I've never heard good things about. But the attack is tricky. They've got a couple real nice wingers. You've got this Hungarian dude, Soboslai, and Hakpo on the other side. So they have a couple nice wingers. We do struggle with pace. So I could see it. I could see this being a higher scoring game. I don't know, man. This Liverpool team is just in such bad form. I cannot believe that we would let them come to our place and just randomly stroll through and put up 2-3 goals against us. How are you feeling, Mikko?
Yeah, that's just I couldn't take that because given the situation and given how we played recently, even if we have lost those games, we lost Milan and Atletico, we still kind of, in my mind, we were the better team and we still managed to lose those games, which kind of sucks. And I'm just really curious, what is our approach? How are we gonna approach the match? I remember there was one Champions League match when I'm trying to be checking it. It was Frankfurt Liverpool, and I think it was Frankfurt. Frankfurt was kind of at the start. They were kind of they scored the first goal there, and still somehow Liverpool ended up winning it 1-5. It was third round or something. And I remember how fast their attack was there. It was the Hugo Ekitike. I remember he ran from the half line. And I'm just thinking how are we gonna approach this match? Are we gonna do this? What's usually been the case in these big matches stuff, we keep the ball and we try to put the pressure, and then the opponent scores the counter-attack goals. Okay, I don't remember how all the goals were scored in that Frankfurt match, but I just remember this Ekitike goal that he was super fast and like you said, Gakpo, he's very good. I don't know, will Salah play? But then they have obviously Alexander.
There is absolutely no chance Salah touches the pitch in this match. I will go on record.
I guess so. But then they have Isak also. He cost a bit of money for them. in the summer. So they have a scary attack, but it's going to be kind of fascinating to see what is our game plan. What are we gonna do? Because I remember a year ago we played against Arsenal, and that was a game that we just sit back and defended their crosses basically, and I'm very eager. Okay, that was I believe that was a bit of a rotation game for us, which was funny, but that was the case, and we won it, which was even funnier. But in this case, Liverpool absolutely needs the win now. I think, like Irfan said, draw is fine for us. So I would hope that we will be kind of balanced. We won't go all over the place. A bit like against Como yesterday. We didn't we lost the ball possession stats actually. It was almost 60 for Como in the end. It was like 58 or something, and we just kept it like really composed and kind of organized the whole team defending for the whole match. And I would like to see a similar approach against Liverpool. I assume we still are able to create enough chances, but yeah, it's a tough one since well, like we discussed here, it's a bit of a perfect place for other team to kind of get it together just against us, and we kind of spoil it for ourselves. But let's hope we kind of can keep it tight and kind of keep the whole thing together and not over attack, not kind of give Liverpool the free chances in a sense to counter attack.
Yeah, you mentioned Isak. I'm pretty sure you can build into starting 11s that cost less than he did for Liverpool when you think about all our free transfers and low budget transfers. The thing I'm curious to see in this game is kind of what we do with the defense. Like, do we give Bisek the start here and we try and play our more modern line? Do we sit deeper and use a Cherby in the spots? I'm curious to see what Kivu does. I'm going to assume it's going to be Carlos Augusto on the right-hand side. Kivu seems to like the steady hands in these more important matches. So I think you'll see Mkhitaryan make his first start back as well. So I kind of expecting the old Inzaghi reliable starting 11 here, but open to being surprised. Irfan, I'll turn over to you for a match prediction.
It's interesting. After saying all that I said, I'm actually going to predict us to win. I think we finally kind of get it together and beat a good team. And I predict we win 2-1. And I'm going to give the goals to Thuram and Hakan, who has seemed to find like a really good kind of run of form of scoring goals. So I'm going to go with Thuram and Hakan in a 2-1 win. I'm going to give Liverpool's goal to Gakpo.
I will say I have seen some starting 11s projections with Bonnie starting, so just keep that in mind. Mikko, what do you got for me?
Oh, that's interesting. I'm gonna be a bit conservative now, and I'm gonna go with 2-2, high scoring draw. Lautaro keeps scoring, and then Bunny will get one goal, but then will concede. Corner goal, Van Dijk will score one, and then they will equalize at the end by, I don't know, Slobodslai. That would be terrible. What about you, Andrew?
I'm going to choose to take a position of confidence in this one. We're going to bring the slot era to an end at Liverpool. This is going to be a 2-0 thrashing. They're not going to score a goal against us. Mo Salah's going to be crying in the locker room after the game. Give me goals from Lautaro and goals from Barella. Let's conclude with a Mikko's hot betting tip. Mikko, what the people want is a Champions League showdown on Wednesday. We've got Real Madrid. We've got Manchester City. It is at the Bernabeu. Please tell me how this game's going to go down.
Real they've been pretty good with Mbappe scoring left and right. But I don't know. That's a tough one. City has been, I guess they've been doing pretty well as well. I'm gonna go with 2-2 as well. Let's go with that. 2-2 high scoring draw. And what the table will look after that? Can we see it? How important is it for them? City has 10 points. Madrid has 12. So they are equal to us. Yeah, let's go with the draw.
All right, you heard it here first. Well, we'll wrap up there. We will get you guys a Subito post-Liverpool, unless we lose, in which case I reserve the right to just take a week off from podcasting because this club is exhausting. So we'll wrap it there. Mikko, please do the honors.
Forza Inter.
That's right.
All right. See you guys.